Welcome to Fox 10 Talks, everyone. I am Brian Webb here with Trenton Hooker. We have Michael Obie back there, and Ashley Loeza is joining us.
Yes.
You know, I woke up this morning. It was a heck of a day yesterday. Everybody knows that. I thought we were kind of out of the woods, but apparently not.
No,
not yet.
Still here
this morning.
And we have more weather coming our way, or at least near.
Yeah, it looks
us.
as though we have some cells that may produce some showers that are starting to die down, but elsewhere across the state, it is looking pretty messy, especially, unfortunately, for folks out in Globe right now. So multiple flash flood watches and warnings. I mean, we've been seeing the impacts, and we do have Nicole out there on scene going to see those conditions out there, but also that radar, it's looking pretty messy, and we are not done with that monsoonal moisture.
Look at that behind Nicole for a second. Yeah. Nicole, wow. That's quite dark behind you.
Yeah, so the good news is this is what has already passed through Globe. So we are outside of the High Desert Middle School, which is one of 2 evacuation sites. The Red Cross is set up here. They also have a Red Cross evacuation center set up in Miami at a middle school there. So there are 2 options for people if you need it. But yeah, this was gnarly. We drove through part of this. And then once we got here, we kind of got here just at the right time to get inside the evacuation center and talk to the Red Cross. But it was a torrential downpour. There was lightning. There was huge thunder, just really bad. Now, again, here's the good news. Look at that. That looks a lot better. That is over here to the west. So hoping that is what's to come. And you can almost see some sun peeking out a little bit from the clouds. So fingers crossed that, it doesn't hit us again really hard. But as all of this is happening, as we've got the rain happening, the storms coming through, people are still trying to get rescued and trying to do these emergency operations in Globe, right in downtown Globe, in Miami. So you've got this weather system coming through today, and they're still trying to do the recovery process from yesterday. So it's just a mess. And I think that I talked to one of the city council members out here, and he was telling me that he has worked on emergency plans for the state. He has a huge background in emergency management, and he was saying that they haven't seen the likes of this in 60 years. And he said beyond that like this 200 feet wide just wall of water hit yesterday, and that's what they were dealing with. And people were at events, people were doing social functions, he said. People were on the 2nd floor of buildings and then had to be evacuated from there. I mean, it was just devastating yesterday, and then today still trying to work through the rescue efforts, the recovery efforts, and then you've got all of this weather coming through again. So that obviously messes things up even more. Also, he said that he thinks there was something like 1,000 propane tanks that ended up in the Pinal Creek going down to Roosevelt Lake. So he was saying that entire channel has propane tanks, like they're trying to get them out, of course, but has propane tanks. So that obviously is a hazard as well. It's kind of scary to walk or to drive through downtown Globe. I've been here a couple of times on other stories and just see the damage. We're going to head down there. And at 5, we'll have a live report from right down in the heart of Globe, and we'll show you some of that damage. But it's kind of scary to see, because then you see these clouds around you and you think, when's it going to end? Where's the relief for these people?
Hey, Nicole, I've got a little bit of breaking news for you, but it just goes on to what you talked about before. But the mayor of Globe, excuse me if I'm pronouncing this wrong, but Gamaros, he says the Globe City Council had a meeting this afternoon at noon to approve and sign the City of Globe emergency proclamation. Simultaneously, the county signed their emergency proclamation, and that's Gila County we're talking about. And now the governor has also signed an emergency declaration for Globe Miami area to authorize funding. They also say we've been in direct contact with the governor, Senator Mark Kelly, Senator Ruben Gallego, Congressman Andy Biggs, and Congressman Eli Crane, who will be involved with working with their teams to expedite funding to the city. They want to assure businesses in the community that all of our residents, that our council is doing everything possible to expedite funding and identify funding opportunities, the business community, etc. They go on to say. So sounds like this is also going to be a Type 3 incident command. where that team is working to get in place. But really, they're trying to move all the levers that they can right now. I know that we've got some video coming in from last night. There's one of those propane tanks we talked about. Now, Brian, when we described this, right, it wasn't just like a small thing. I mean, that's like a massive one for residents.
Almost as big as cars. It was first reported as gas tanks, and that was like, okay, no, these are the real deal, huge propane tanks. We should mention we have had at least 4 deaths reported, 1 in Scottsdale, 3 out in the area where Nicole is. Nicole, have you heard anything yet? Do we think this was just flooding in and of itself, or have you heard any talk of maybe some burn scars adding to the problems yet? I know you just got out there. What have you heard?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything about the burn scars yet. That's something that we'll continue to kind of ask some of the people on the front lines out here. But I do know that the councilman that I was talking with, he said that this city does, I mean, you are in this valley in Globe, you are getting that, low. You've got the hills and the mountains around you, and then you've got this city in the middle. So I think what he said is that the city there are some areas where people have done things and where it's set up to withhold some of this, but this was just, he said, just way more than what it could take. So I think it ended up being just an extreme. That wall of water, he said, was 200 feet wide. That just came out of nowhere, and people didn't even have time to prepare, and the city wasn't quite prepared, but not necessarily from anything of their doing, just because this was so much water and it hit so fast. And we had people that we were interviewing yesterday too, other crews that were out here, saying that they had never seen flooding like this in the area. So even if you are prepared to a certain extent and you have some of those safety measures in place, sometimes Mother Nature doesn't care, right? So,
hey, Nicole, we just got some more breaking news from the City of Globe Police Department that has sent this statement to Fox 10. Due to the continued inclement weather and unpredictability of flash flooding, the Globe Police Department has removed crews from the low-lying areas. At this time, the Globe PD encourages people, if you're in a safe location, shelter in place and avoid traveling. If possible, find high ground and avoid low-lying areas and waterways affected by the flash flooding.
Wow. We're approaching like storm of the century type stuff. And Ashley, sorry, we kind of skipped over the latest from, this is still developing right now.
Yeah, and it looks like, just looking at radar, we could get another wave of some brief and heavy downpours coming in from the south towards Globe. So we're not done with the rain just yet. We have been seeing some severe thunderstorms popping towards Buckeye as well. Zooming in closer, it looks as though showers moving into Phoenix are starting to really die down. But a lot of the action, of course, for our friends towards Globe, where we're actually still under multiple alerts in place with that flood advisory through at least 5:30, this flash flood warning through at least 6 o'clock. And of course, Nicole was out there. She was describing how you had the brief and heavy downpours of rain, and now that first wave has moved out. But it looks as though around that 4 o'clock hour, we could see another chance for that happening, almost a rinse and repeat. You can even see towards Dudleyville. That will come up north and potentially hit the Globe area. And of course, we can't forget our friends towards Buckeye. We have slow-moving thunderstorms and potentially more storms popping up as well as we fast forward for the rest of today. So we're not done with those conditions quite yet, as we are tracking some more showers that'll really start to die down later on tonight. Another wave could potentially hit us tomorrow morning, but it looks as though still tonight, still seeing our chances towards the Globe area.
Hey, Ashley, real quick. So with this area, a lot of the valley, most of the valley, right, received about an inch of rain. I think those were what the totals.
Yeah.
We're looking at a lot more in some places. But so you already have that saturation on the ground right now. It's pretty muddy out, whole area. You get another round of rain coming through. Can you talk about what that's like in the soil?
Yeah, it's catastrophic, especially for those saturated areas over the debris as well. I mean, this is also toxic for folks out there as well. I mean, we've been seeing it more heavily towards the Globe area. So that all in combination, that is definitely not good for those roadways, for those home structures as well. So very unfortunate situation as we are seeing some more rain dumping in. And we have the perfect setup for, unfortunately, something like this to happen. happen. We not only had the monsoon high, but then we were looking at this low pressure off the coast. That in combination brought us the excessive rain that we saw. We're still picking up the numbers for Glow, but here in the valley, for example, we actually are now above average when it comes to monsoonal rain activity. So yesterday, Friday, we actually received over an inch of rain, 1.64 inches to be exact. And right now, it looks as though at least totals for the monsoon season were over 2.5 inches. So wow. A lot of rain that we've received. And unfortunately, some have been hit harder than others. It's kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. We need the rain, but we know with Mother Nature that could also bring some destruction and unfortunately some deaths as well.
Let's check back in with Nicole real quick because she's got to get out of here.
Nicole, I know you need to get going real quick. We have just a couple of minutes. Have you seen people showing up to these shelters much at all yet, or what are people doing?
No, so what I have seen, there hasn't been anyone to show up to the High Desert Middle School yet. Or I believe 11 people who stayed overnight in Miami at the middle school there. And so we do know that people have been utilizing the Red Cross shelters and evacuating their homes. But then today, I think they went right back out when it was clear this morning to try and check on their properties, probably check on their neighbors too. I mean, this is a tight-knit community and they're going to be worried about each other too. So we haven't seen anybody come through today, but with this next storm coming through and just the continued, I mean, as you mentioned, Trenton, even the crews kind of heading out of the area and evacuating a little bit. I mean, I'm sure that there are people who are going to be utilizing this tonight. So I know Miami saw some people. I wouldn't be surprised if we see.
Got a little hung up there. A lot going on, but so we'll have her on our 5 o'clock news along with Taylor Wirtz is also out there.
Yep.
I want to ask you,
and then the governor too is supposed to speak to us before 5 o'clock. Yeah,
Ashley will have the latest on the advisories in the area, and so we're not out of the woods yet. But I think we have to take a little break, and I want to ask you if you don't mind about how you decided we needed to go.
Yeah, that's
send
great.
all boots on the ground out there today.
Right.
So we'll be right back after this break on Fox 10 Talk. Stay with us.
Hey, you're watching Fox 10 Talks. I'm Trenton Hooker, Brian Webb, and Ashley Loesa joining us with what has been just a remarkable 36 plus hours, right? We've had a monsoon season that was feeling like it was a little bit dry, but just like you mentioned, Ashley, a little bit ago, we have well surpassed, I think, those predictions of what it's going to be. But if we could, Michael Obie in the back directing, and Mike, if we could just pull up some of that video with the city of Globe, just their downtown district, getting inundated with that flash flood water. I mean, you can see in the back just how fast some of that water is moving. But people were going by, and Brian, you were talking a little bit ago about these propane tanks, where it wasn't just these small individual cans, but it was actual what you would see outside of residences, almost car-sized containers being swept away like they're pool toys.
Yeah, we can only hope that they are mostly empty.
There's
right?
one of them right now.
There we go. And I'm thinking of Globe in my memory. I was there not too long ago, and correct me if I'm wrong, but there's the main drag.
Oh my gosh!
there
And then there's a car behind them getting just
floated away. You know, like they say, it just takes a few inches of flooding, right, to lift a car.
Right.
And that, I believe, that main drag through.
It's another car behind by the stop sign.
Yeah, I see that.
Oh.
The main drag goes right along. The wash just goes right through town, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, a big one.
If
I'm
not wrong, on 60 there, it's all a canyon.
Yeah.
You know, because you got Miami, you got Globe, and then I think Pine is farther down too. But basically, it's just boom, 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 and they're all little cities in this canyon where you have the wash and you have, you know, kind of the river there.
And actually, we have, so I don't even know, water hits parched ground and it floods. Now it's soaked ground and it floods. I mean, there's no getting around it other than to get to higher ground, right?
Absolutely. I mean, like you saw that image right there. Raging water, saturated grounds, obviously causing destruction. My gosh. Where is this again?
This is in Globe. Last night.
Yeah. Oh,
man.
And
Globe, I was here last night and we were reporting on Globe, and they were saying that it started technically the night before, I believe. So they've been dealing with this going on 72 hours now, and maybe more storms today.
And sorry, I don't want to forget about the folks that are weighing in here too. Amber Mitchell, thank you for the comment. I'm 2 hours north of Globe. Is it going to hit here in Apache County, Navajo County? A lot of concern with what the weather's going on here.
It almost looked, when you look at that map, Ashley, it looked like kind of it just fans out on either side of the valley, and it looks like there's a pretty good chance anybody on that screen might get something today.
Yeah, Apache Navajo counties. I'm just looking at radar. It looks as though we may be receiving that later on tonight around that 6 o'clock hour. So definitely want to be prepared for brief and heavy downpours of rain. Trying to push through my radar, but I could just explain to you that we're definitely seeing our fair share of sporadic and isolated to scattered showers as well. But again, the brunt of this is going to be towards Globe, Gila County, across the eastern portions of the state.
Wow. Trent, I wanted to ask you earlier today, you kind of decide where our resources go on the weekend. We have 2 reporters on the weekend, and we sent Nicole immediately. Taylor, we were going to send to Scottsdale because there's been at least one death there and some bad flooding there as well. But you kind of got the feeling now we need to hit Globe as ground zero.
Well, yeah, that's a great question. So initially we thought we can go to the evacuation center and we might have it covered, and we'll just see what the weather looks like for the rest. But I think when the city, and I have to give credit where credit is due here, because not only the local city government of Globe, but also the Gila County Sheriff's Office, it seems like they've been very upfront with information, with getting folks out there saying, hey, here's where we're searching right now. Please avoid the area. They've been really heavy on social medias talking about that. And then, of course, the city council earlier today for their emergency meeting issued that emergency disaster declaration saying we need help, get us funding, putting out the flare for that. But seeing where the city was saying that our historic downtown is shut down because we don't know how bad and inundated the toxic chemicals may be. And then also the propane tanks that were there, other explosives that might be in the area with you get this with flash flooding, hurricanes, things like that. They were saying avoid the area, do not come in here. And then when they said we also have search and rescue and canine crews, and that might throw off the scent where they're trying to look for survivors. And then the darkest part where they might be looking for bodies in this area too. That just rang all my journalistic hairs of going, we need to get more folks out there.
All hands on deck. Yeah, better. Yeah.
And people need to know. But now, as you've seen, that police department did say in Globe, shelter in place. We're pulling back our crews. We're under a flash flood warning right now. And
we have three deaths that we know of. We don't really know the details yet of those. Right. We do know more about the man in Scottsdale.
Yes.
And you and I were talking about, first of all, it's hard to know. We always say don't drive into flooded washes.
Turn around, don't drown.
Turn around, don't drown, because you don't really know how deep it is necessarily. You don't know how fast it's going.
You might have the biggest truck there is, the most souped up SUV, but you have no idea.
We interviewed a guy who had a huge truck last night, and he's like, yeah, I went through there, but it was kind of dicey there for a while.
Yeah. Anyway, I saw a guy in a Harley trying to go through water.
No.
And it was over the pipes trying to get through. And I think just momentum got him out of his parking lot that he was in, but it's wild.
Yeah.
Huge. It was a UPS truck too.
Yes,
so
good
it doesn't
point.
matter.
Good point. Didn't a fire truck, I think, got stuck last night? So come on, a fire truck. You don't get much bigger than that.
Right.
But we were talking about what to do if you are trapped in those waters, and apparently Scottsdale police said that they looked with a drone at that car at El Dorado Park, I believe.
Yeah, this was 77th Street and Roosevelt Street.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And they didn't see anything last night. They went back to the car, found the man's body under a walkway bridge, and we were talking. So he clearly tried to get out of the car, which is our understanding that you should do.
The thing, that they always say, Ashley, is you should always seek higher ground where you can and what you're doing. Now, does higher ground mean the roof of your vehicle?
Right.
In that split second, I mean, get out of the water what you can. I've covered in Texas, so many localized floods and then hurricanes that have come through as well. And that's the thing. Get to higher ground. If that means a tree, if that means a utility pole, anything, get to higher ground, because it's not just the water itself, which is so deadly and dangerous, but it's the things that are in the water too.
Oh, yeah.
That we don't see.
The sewage, the chemicals, the contaminants. I mean, this
concrete, anything that's being swept away too and pulls people.
Yeah.
It's and then also the hazard where these are areas where you have live utilities going through. So you have electrical, everything else. I mean, it's so dangerous.
Hidden dangers.
Yeah, but the other thing too is how some of these vehicles, where if you're enclosed in a vehicle and you're inside the cab, all your doors are shut. And those all have weather sealing, and you kind of have an enclosed cabin space, and that can be dangerous. Where if you're inundated with water in some of these areas, where it can overtake, say, a small car, and it's pushing it, and then you're rolled over and you can't get the door open.
And then but then we have the other flip side, right? I'm just imagining. So this man clearly tried to get out of the car and was swept away at some level. So it was already too late. You just you just never know. I mean, it's just such a dangerous situation. And once you're in it, you're just in survival mode.
Right. I think
Sometimes
once the water's high enough to stall your car out. So, I mean, when the car gets stalled in the water is going up the exhaust. So you got to think your exhaust pipe's just below your rear bumper. So if the water's that high, it's getting the exhaust. It's going to stall the car. If the water's that high, it will definitely sweep you away.
Right.
And so I think, I mean, again, I'm not an expert, but roll your windows down and probably get on top of that car, because we had a live shot last night with Taylor out in Scottsdale, and I think it was a Porsche or some sort of two-door sedan. I mean, the water was still up to basically where the windows were. Yeah. And I mean, if you get out of there, you're definitely going wherever the water takes you.
Exactly.
You're
it picks
at God's mercy at that point.
Exactly. And in this case in particular, when they had flown the drone out, the water was significantly high at night, where they could, I think it was, the vehicle was partially submerged, 8 to 9 feet of water. I mean, gosh, that's a pool,
which leads me back to what could come for Globe tonight with even just a little bit more rain. Could be big problems.
And they had to wait till it got down, I believe, to 4 to 5 feet to send in the technical rescue crew to look for the person. And that's when he was found. And I think it was this person's body was still found 5 to 6 feet under the water, that pedestrian bridge. So
Okay.
Either way, it's terrible. And you just really hope folks are having conversations where they're living here. Do I really need to go out tonight? Do we really need to go to the store? Do we really need to go to that restaurant? Yeah, it's Saturday night, but don't go out.
I mean, Trenton, are they saying if they're not willing to send the police in, are they telling the people in Globe to just leave?
Exactly. Yeah. They're asking
get out of
folks
town.
shelter in place if you can't get out. But get out if you can.
Are we on KUTP tonight?
Yes,
at 5 o'clock.
So for the 5 o'clock. So we'll have coverage with Ashley will be there, both of our reporters, and we'll give you the latest, plus the governor's speaking at any moment now.
Yeah,
right?
4:45, I believe she's set to talk because Arizona Task Force 1 being activated. So the big guns are going to be coming out, hopefully to save survivors, and there won't be too much of the recovery effort.
And there's not much daylight left when you think about that, too. I mean, you can't really go rescue.
On that point, too, MCSO was very quick to get out this morning. The sheriff's office told us that they sent a crew, I think it's 6 a.m. They've already been asked by the Globe Fire Department to, hey, we're shutting down that part of the search operations, so get your guys some rest. So those guys and gals with the Swiftwater Rescue with Maricopa County Sheriff's Office, they've already come back and are getting some downtime, going to go back out tomorrow.
And I think we sent Irene Snyder out there early today, and they were talking about businesses, helping businesses, community. Yeah. But maybe all that's for naught if we get another round tonight.
We hope those folks can get to some safety because, it doesn't sound like it's over.
Also, just want to say, with these flood waters, this is not a time to be bringing out the boogie boards and the tubes and the rafts and stuff, because that's something that we've been saying across the valley. And highly, highly, highly do not recommend, as we had mentioned, about just how toxic those flood waters can be and obviously how fast they could sweep you through. So,
good point.
Yeah,
we saw that yesterday, and it was cute. It's cute, but it's not.
I mean, I covered Hurricane Harvey, and then I was a victim of it myself, and that is just a toxic sludge of crap, and you don't know what's in there.
Let's not do that.
Yep.
All right, thanks everybody for joining us. Don't forget to watch Fox 10 later tonight. We'll have all your coverage. Ashley will have the latest on the weather. We have 2 reporters in the Globe Miami area for the latest, so stick with us on air and online, and we appreciate you being with us.
Okay, thanks.